Hi, I'm Karine Jean-Pierre, and I am the author of a new book that's coming out this fall called Independent. It's coming out on October 21st, so please do grab it. And the reason I wrote this book, coming out of the White House, serving as White House press secretary was an honor and a privilege. But since I have left, the people that come up to me, strangers that come up to me just across the country as I'm traveling, and sometimes right in my neighborhood, at a grocery store, supermarket, airport, my daughter's school, the number one question they ask me is, Karine, how do we get out of this? How do we protect our democracy? How do we protect vulnerable communities among us? What do we do next? Because we don't have answers here. That's what they ask me. And this is my answer. And what I mean by that is, in an era of misinformation, disinformation, the regressiveness of social policy, what we're seeing currently right now, what I have decided to do, and I really have thought long and hard about this, is to follow my own compass. And that's what I've done. And that's what this book does. And here's the truth. And here's how I will lay it out to you. I think we need to stop thinking in boxes and think outside.
All right, enough of this.
And not be so partisan.
Come on, let her cook, Mark. Let her cook.
I'm keeping a running list. I have so much to say about this, but I'll let you guys go first. Just tell me two of your thoughts about it. The reaction from a lot of Democrats, both on the record and background and on social media, has been withering for a variety of reasons.
Yeah.
Larry, just tell me two things you think about this.
Two quick things. This is why people hate Washington, D.C. This person was the star quarterback, the head cheerleader, and the play-by-play announcer for the destruction of the Democrat Party, frankly, by lying blatantly, being the worst press secretary we've ever had, and by lying to the American people about what was going on in what now she calls a broken White House. But she worked right up until the last day and cashed that check. That's item number one. Item number two, Mark, does she have a constituency? What a stupid move to say I'm not a Democrat anymore. The only thing she could have hoped for was cover from loyal Democrats who might want to, help her out. But now she's on an island.
You don't see her as a modern day Ross Perot, is what you're saying.
Hardly.
Okay. Nomi, 2 points about the book, please.
It's a thankless job, so I will give her that. And I think she got a lot of heat because of the administration she was in, being a woman, a lesbian, a Black Haitian lesbian. So let's be aware that some of the commentary I think being thrown at her as being the worst press secretary. Come on, spare me.
Oh, come on. That what you just described was the most interesting thing about her. Nomi, honest. Okay, all right.
Second point. Second point.
What's happening, and then you can actually be real. With that being said, I've seen this happen on the left quite a bit over the last few years, where I think she comes out of the left, out of my end of the left before she joined the White House. I think there are a lot of folks who came out of the progressive left, joined the Biden administration, can't go back to the progressive left because they're seen as sellouts. The Biden administration, has a branding issue right now. She's not really welcomed in parts of the Democratic circles. And I've seen a lot of progressives go into this independent lane that's just very anti-establishment. It's okay, well, where were you when we were all fighting those fights, I don't know, 8 years ago with the Clintons or 4 years ago. So it does seem like a branding exercise. I don't know if she's going to sell that many books. She might, but regardless of that, I think this is going to turn into an online show. And I'm concerned because, listen, this is, if anything right now, the Democratic Party needs to get their act together. And it just seems like there's lots of branding opportunities for key Democrats to go out there and lay their plan out for running for president in a few years.
All right, I'm sorry. Here are my two things. First of all, there's no doubt that part of the heat she got was because she's not a white man. Anyone who would argue against that is ridiculous. But I would argue that had she been a white man, she would have been laughed at as the worst White House press secretary in years. She was horrible at the job. She shouldn't have accepted it when she was offered. She should have had the self-awareness to say, I'm just not qualified to do this job. And the people who offered her the job, including the president, should be ashamed for themselves and apologize to her for asking her to take a job she was patently not qualified for. Okay. And I will say, I see in the press coverage today, lots of news organizations writing, well, she was in over her head, right? And quoting people saying that. You will not find that because they all protected her when she was the press secretary. They rarely wrote about it. And the drama that they all knew about with what's his name? The national security guy.
Jake Sullivan?
No.
John Kirby.
John Kirby.
Oh, John Kirby.
John Kirby, who she wouldn't let brief, although sometimes he did, because she couldn't do the national security briefings. Again, I'm not saying she's a bad person. I'm not saying she's not qualified for any job. She's not qualified for the job she had. And today, just as the press is suddenly saying what was apparent to everyone, that Joe Biden had too much of a loss of cognitive decline to be president. Now they're happy to say that, covered it up the whole administration. Same thing with her. Now they're happy to say, well, lots of people didn't think she was up for the job. Back then, they acted like she was Mike McCurry and Ari Fleischer rolled into one. I mean, it is shameful. And I would love to know how many books they're printing, because they're going to be returning almost all of them. I can't imagine who the constituency is, as you said.
Can I just say one extra thing?
Of course.
If we can, I don't know if there's a way to zoom in on that book cover. It is like,
It's
I feel
awful.
like it's straight out of the, no offense to the right wing, but I feel like it's straight out of the right wing book covers of like the 2000s era.
I think it's AI generated. It's artless is what it is. And it's like a stereotype of what you would do for a book like this. You're right about that. Although I would just, two things I'd take issue with. You may be right that she got a lot of criticism because she was not a white man. I also think she got a lot of excuses made for her because she was not a white man. And so that probably offsets. And I don't think it's a thankless job, Nomiki, because her predecessor is a primetime star on a cable news network right now.
Yeah.
So it wasn't thankless for her.
Again, I've been offered jobs in my life that I wasn't qualified for. And you know what I did? I turned them down.
Oh, look at you.
Turned them down.
See, and I thought you would have made a great starting center for the New York Knicks.
Like what you see? Why don't you subscribe? This is a great opportunity to be part of unique conversations. Just hit the subscribe button. And if you want to watch our events live, go to twoway.tv.